Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm TFR Wilderness, and first of this month's KTRT reviews. And I'm sorry it's a bit late, but I seem to be getting delays in the delivery of my KTRTs. I order them at the beginning of the month like I usually do, but they're taking longer to come through UK customs, and I'm wondering whether this is something to do with the up and coming no-deal Brexit, or preparations for if we get a no-deal Brexit and it throws all the customs union into chaos. So I think they're making preparations for it. But anyway, it's slowed things, international parcels coming in a little bit. And I've only just yesterday did I get the first of my KTRTs, and the other one arrived today. But anyway, so let's get on with it. Right, so as you know, I like to buy and review Korean toys on this channel, and this month is no different. I usually buy two Korean toys every month, and this is the first such review. And today I'm reviewing a character from a sequel series to a toy line that I've bought characters from before. And it's a little bit off the beaten track, pun intended, so to speak. I am, of course, referring to robot trains. Now, if you were obviously watching these Korean shows, you'll know there's shows like Polly the Police Car and Super Wings, where they have these like sort of very cutesy like little cars and planes with faces that then turn into robots. They sprout arms and legs and walk around and have adventures. Well, Robot Trains is kind of a similar sort of thing, but with season 1, which came out a couple of years ago, they sort of, I don't know how to put it. I mean, they sort of geared this show up to be a little bit more grown up than some of the other kiddies type shows that use this similar sort of format. And what they created was Robot Trains season 1, and it's actually I quite liked Robot Trains season 1. I mean, they pushed it really hard in Korea when it first came out, but it didn't do so well. But then they dubbed it into a bunch of different languages and released it in other territories, and it started to gain a bit of traction and then did a lot better. And it did enough with the season 1 that it spawned a season 2. And I've got a couple of figures from season 1, and I've decided to buy a figure from season 2. But before I get actually into the review itself, I've decided this month to buy both my Korean toys to a theme. Now, I did this last year. I did some theming with my KTRTs last year, and I've done it this year. I did it last month actually. Both the KTRTs I bought were themed to the colour blue. I don't know whether you noticed that. I forgot to mention it in the reviews I did last month. But this month the theme is the colour pink, and so obviously I've bought two fembots. So today I'm doing a review of Robot Trains Season 2 or S2 Maxie. And obviously because she's a very bright colour, she's been bleached out by the lights. Let's see again. So yeah, here she is in her train mode. And before we get into things, let's have a quick look at the box. Now, this is a box for the season 2 figures, and they're being distributed by Silverlit, and they're being made by a company called David. Now, it's not a particularly robust box. It's quite thin plastic. It's got like windows in and a bubble, and it's got on the side pictures of some of the other characters. Like you've got Maxie, who's a new character, and then you've got Genie, who's another one of the new characters, and then you've got the carryover characters, the characters that were in season 1 who are now in season 2. One thing they did, well, actually no, while we're still on the packaging, I just want to show you the differences between the new packaging and the old packaging, because I've got, here's a package from one of the figures from the original series. This is Victor. Now you can see they're quite a lot chunkier. They're made out of a really sturdy cardstock, and they also have inside, you get the figure, and they also have what they call the unit parts, the upgrade parts that clip onto the robot to power it up. Now, Maxie here doesn't have those. Now, I can't remember from watching the episodes of season 2 whether she actually has any upgrade parts. I don't think she does, and she's actually smaller than the other Robot Train characters. But so this is her in her train mode, and I've got a size comparison here because I've got Victor from season 1. Now he's quite big. Now if you look at the size comparison with her to him, you can see Victor is quite a bit bigger. But obviously there's a good reason for that. Now Maxie is a character. I mean, I want to actually speak a little bit about the actual show, because the first season of Robot Trains is a great show. It's a really good show. Yes, it's a kids show, but it has these these walking, talking trains. It's got robot trains, but it has a like a dark edginess to it. There's a lot of really sort of heavy stuff that goes down in season 1, like the main bad guy Duke. He seems benign to begin with, and then he turns on Kay and attacks him, and then he comes out, and then he goes all postal and starts attacking everybody. Especially he's trying to steal Kay's magnetic engine or something, and then he gets subdued and locked up, and then he escapes again, and then he goes all red, goes all red eyes and everything. He goes totally evil and tries to destroy everybody, and then he gets knocked down again. And it turns out that Duke is being controlled by a malevolent computer virus, and later on the computer virus clones Duke's identities, and then towards the end of the series you get this army of Duke, dark Duke clones that invade Train World and basically destroying everything and attacking all the Robot Train citizens. And there's a lot of real dark, heavy crap that went down in season 1, and I don't know whether that was the reason why the show never really took off was quite as successful as the original creators intended. But for season 2, they've gone in a totally different direction with it. They've dumbed it down and they've turned it into more of the kiddie show it's meant to be, which is a bit disappointing. And to call season 2 a successor season to season 1, it's like you're watching a totally different show. Yes, there are some characters that are the same, but the locations are totally different. They have some, most of the characters from season 1 carry over into season 2 with some notable omissions, like Jeffrey, who is the administrator for the Fountain Plaza in season 1. He's totally absent in season 2. I don't know where he is. There's no reference to the place they were before, the Fountain Plaza Rail World. There's no reference to that. At the end of season 1, they were trying to open the Intercontinental Railroad to another area, and I assume this is the place where they open the Intercontinental Railway to. They come to this new place where Kay and all the others are all part of a group called Rail Watch. And basically they're rangers that go around, helping people when they're in trouble and, fighting, bad guys. So Maxie is one of these characters, and I quite like her character. This is the reason why I bought her. I mean, she's a very, very simple little toy, but as a character, she's got she's a bit childish, but she's got a childlike sense of wonder and naivety about her, and she's very happy, very go-lucky. She's always smiling and laughing, and she always wants to help, but she's somewhat oblivious to some of the things that are going on around her. Like, a lot of the time she comes up against the bad guys up to no good, and then she just tries to help them out because she doesn't know, They can easily fool her into thinking they're doing something benign, but really they're up to no good. They're trying to steal the energy orbs or whatever it is. But anyway, so here's Maxie in her train mode, and she's just a simple little modern sort of train. She's got little wheels on the bottom. She's got the little coupling rods that go around on her wheels. She does roll very well, and in season 2 she's referred to as the Energizer. Now if you look on top, she's got this fan unit on the top, and that's her generator, and basically when she spins this up, she gets a boost of power, and it allows her to drive really fast along the rails, and also she has an abundance of energy which she can then pass on to other robot trains that are feeling a bit run down. There's one particular episode where Kay uses up all his energy and gets stranded out in this field of flowers, and then nobody can find him because he's lost contact with he's lost his his communicator with Railwatch, and he's stuck somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and Maxie goes to his rescue and fires up her generator and recharges him and saves his life effectively. So she's quite a decent little character, and I wanted to get a toy of her. So like I said, she's kind of small compared to the other robot trains, and she's very simplistic. To start off with, pull these arms down a little bit, slide out the fists. Then you have these little panels on the side which you can fold up, and that allows you to move the arms out to the side. You then unclip the legs, fold them down. You can extend the legs, and then turn the waist around 180 degrees, and then finally just fold down the backpack. And there we go. There's Maxie in her robot mode. Now you can see she's got a grinning face, but because she's quite a happy bot, if you look at the illustrations of her on the box, you can see in the show she has this very wide sort of happy grin on her face most of the time. It would have been better if they'd have gave her a wide mouth grin than just a thin smile. She's okay. She's a bit kind of dumpy, but that's just the way these robot trains work. They're designed. Let's just transform Victor very quickly. So there's a size comparison with her next to Victor. Now obviously Victor's quite a big bot and Maxie's quite small. Now in season 1, and obviously carried over to season 2, there's another fembot character called Selly, and she's like a little, again, a little pink and white train, and she has this little drone unit called Becky that runs around, and I think Maxie's design is based largely on Selly's design, because Selly is a bit simplistic and smaller compared to the other robot trains. Now articulation on these, they don't have a lot, to be honest. The eyes don't move. You've got these little flaps on the side you can angle slightly. The arms are ball jointed up into the shoulder, so they can move forwards and backwards and up and down a little bit. They have an elbow that goes to 90 degrees, but got very limited range of motion. The hips are on a twist unit there for transformation. The hips are on a ball joint, so you go forwards, back, in and out. Now it kind of looks like this gal has got knees, but she hasn't got working knees, which is a bit of a shame, because you look at Victor has working knees. See, he's got working knees. Not that they're much good, but he has working knees. Maxie doesn't. A bit disappointing, but again, I think that's because she's a little bit more of a simple design compared to the other earlier robot train figures. So yeah, that's about as much as I can say about it, really. She's bright, she's colourful, she's decently painted. Looks like the character from the show. Wish she had a big grin on her face rather than a thin smile. Limited articulation, very simplistic toy. Not much more I can say about it. I mean, you can pick these guys, well, these toys up off the season 2 figures up off eBay for around about sort of 20 odd quid. And the thing is, though, now this is my first example of the new built ones, because they're made, like I said, by David and Silverlit. But then you got the original robot trains are made by Gina, and obviously this guy's made by Gina or Gina World, and the build quality on him is a lot better than this gal. He is bigger and taller and wider and all that, so he's going to be heavier, but they just seem slightly better made than these. And the packaging definitely, because obviously the other thing that she doesn't have that the other Robot Train figures have is this guy has the upgrade parts, so he's got like these pieces that goes on his arms. So there's these like chisel things that go on his arms. He then has these skis that go on his feet. And then he has this grinder unit that goes on his back. Like so. So then Victor gets powered up, and of course, having a rotary snowplow for a face, he's from like a snowy region, and he's got like these chisels for chiseling through ice. He's got skis that allow him to get around on the snow and the ice easily, and he's got like a grinder in the back, like a snowblower type thing in the back to grind up snow and ice when he's doing rescues and stuff. So, but they have all these upgrade parts on the other figures, but she didn't come with any of that, and neither did Selly from the original toy line either. So that's what makes me think that this design is based upon Selly. Obviously, I've got Alf as well, and I've also got the KDX, and the DX stands for Deluxe, and he comes with the train, because like robot trains, they're supposed to have a train behind them when they go around. So you get the character, and then you get this car behind, which is called Auto, and it's basically an automatic robotic train that follows them around. And then you have the cars, which have the unit parts in. And they only did 2 figures in the DX pack with the extra pieces. That was Kay and Alf. Another thing I've noticed with this season 2 box, they've repainted a couple of the characters into new paint schemes. I mean, Alf, in his original form, he's got these white stripes across his face. On the season 2, they've done away with the white stripes. He's got like a thin yellow stripe across his face. And Kay, they changed his colour palette quite a lot. They did him in a much brighter, lighter shade of blue, and did away with a lot of the paint apps that are on the original season 1 character. So they did make a lot of changes to season 2, some of which aren't necessarily good. It's still a decent show to watch, but if it was up to me, I'd say go watch season 1. If you're going to watch Robot Trains, watch season 1. It's a much better show than season 2. Don't know whether they're going to continue with season 3. We don't know how successful the season 2 show's been. And another thing, we never ever got a toy of Duke, because Duke, I think, is one of the best characters in season 1, because he's the bad guy, and it turns out he's not really a bad guy. He's actually being controlled by this evil computer virus, and once he's cleared of it, he actually turns into a good guy. And then towards the end, he's fighting against this army of sort of zombies of himself, and then he helps Kay to attain the power of the galactic train or the galactic cargo. And in the process of doing that, Duke sacrifices himself and gets blown up. So he doesn't die because his engine survives, and they manage to rebuild him from his engine. And then he's in season 2, because in season 2 he's part of this he's got these 2 cohorts called Moss and Doss that follow him around, and he works for Professor X, who's the main bad guy. And the best way I can describe Duke and his sort of buddies in season 2 is they're basically like a Team Rocket ripoff. They're just going around, doing misdemeanors and trying to make out like they're bigger baddies than they actually are. And the main thing they do is they're stealing these energy orbs that the robot trains used to transfer energy from one place to another. And also another thing in Robot Train Season 2, there's these little humanoid characters in it as well, which there's no sign of them in Season 1, but there are in Season 2. They're called Railers or whatever they're called. And yeah, it's really weird, Season 2. But I know this isn't much of a review of this toy, but like I said, there's not much to it, to be honest. It's a very simplistic figure. But, you know, she's not bad. She looks nice. She's a decent little, decent looking character, but you know, there just isn't much to her. You know, she hasn't got much articulation. Very simplistic transformation. Doesn't come with any accessories. So yeah, there's not really much more you can say about it than that. She's okay, but she's not. If you're going to be buying robot trains, you really should get some of the Season 1 figures, because you know they've got a little bit more to them. But that's been my review. I will be doing another review next week of another pink Korean fembot that I've just got. So I'll catch you all then. I've been TFL Wilderness. Thanks for watching.